Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Friday, so it's my PowerPoint presentation day. This is about the four archetypes. It's one of the themes that I keep coming back to again and again with what I call the quadrated order, or the four directions, or the four portals. Call it whatever you want, but these are the deep images that have proven their evolutionary adaptational advantage over the years. And because we have a surface self and a depth self, the depth self, you can call it the unconscious if you want to, communicates to the surface self through images. So let's see what these images have to say to us. We'll run through this rapidly. First of all, I invite you to come into the inner sweat lodge for some ritual purification and cleanse the doors of your perception. So, in your heart, know what you're thankful for, know what you accept, know what you have to forgive or ask forgiveness from whom, and then always remember gratefulness for having the opportunity to do this. So, we start off with what I call the king model first. And the king is the part of you that sits on the throne, rules, oversees, is the center, is the channel. You are the terrestrial model for the celestial forces. And the purpose of your life is to bless and liberate the coming generation, to teach them and to provide resources for the community with you as the model or the poster child of how to do it. Now, of course, there's a female version of it. There's just as much majesty, ability to command, graciousness, severity, and mercy in a woman who rules as in a man. And even if you've lost the 1950s idea of the woman as the hearth keeper and confers the blessing of feminine graces through nurturing, food, care, and so forth, it's still a powerful model. The mother is the same as the queen. But there's also the woman warrior, the Amazon. You know, they kick ass and take names. They cut their breast off, the Amazons did, if it inhibited their bowstring pull. But again, mother bear defends her cubs. Oh, tell me they're not fierce. Yeah, so fierceness is a feminine trait as well as a masculine trait. But of course, we normally think of the macho warrior, the Rambo, the killing machine, the trained specialist, the special ops guy. It takes a lot of discipline to do that in a certain way. And the main thing about the warrior is to draw boundaries, to keep out chaos, so that life and culture can exist on this side of the realm. So the real warrior finds the throne worthy to be loyal to, serves it, has self sacrifice, is willing to die for it. But of course, we want him to live for it, not just die. Then you have the magician, the Jnana yogi, the wizard, the esoteric knowledge of different planes, different dimensions of existence, keeper of the old ways and the stories. But the important thing, he's the initiator. He's the steward to help young men enter and exit sacred space. The medial woman does the same thing for young girls as they come into their young womanhood. So this is where the traditional lore gets passed on. So the culture gets carried by the next generation. And even if you don't know that God is your charioteer in the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes you have to step up and do tests and trials with things that bring you to a near death experience. Otherwise, you don't feel like you're born again. And the female has the same version. She's the high priestess of cosmic memory. She's the fertility of the subconscious mind. It's available to the initiated. And like the moon, it's related to changing phases over time. And you see she's balanced between mercy and severity with all the fertility of the pomegranates in the background. She's holding the Torah. You can see she's connected to the moon and the horns of the dilemma on her head. And the lovers, of course, are the last archetype. Hari, the stealer of hearts. It teaches you purity of intent. It teaches you how to sacrifice and give up everything so you can be with the beloved. And the key to the beloved energy or the lover energy is playing and displaying. The wonder child, curious, vivacious, genderless in a certain way. But the most important thing is the nakedness psychologically, like John and Yoko. It's a symbol of there's nothing between us. See me as I am. It's as much a psychological thing as it's a physical thing, to allow yourself to be that vulnerable with another person. All right, now we move into where do these archetypes work? Well, you locate the throne room. So what's the throne room for the king or the queen? The boardroom, the golf course, the toilet seat, the car, the meditation cushion, different places where people could come to decisions. Find your own. The warrior, it's the battlefield. Where's the field of struggle for you? Where's the field of challenge for you? It's the sports arena, the bedroom. Where do you fight the good fight and risk it all? That's where your warrior is working. Then you have the scientist, the lab, where experimentation goes on, the organized, systematized body of knowledge with its own methodology. For me, it's the yoga mat. That's the instrument. For the artist, it's the easel. For the dancer, it's the stage. Or writing in the journal. A lot of different ways to understand how the mental focus, or what I call the Jnana Yogi or the Magus or the medial woman works. Understand where yours does. And then for the lovers, it's the garden, the private space set apart. That's where you do your inner work in a cloistered environment, away from prying eyes, for your eyes only. It's where beauty and creativity happen. So that's where your garden space is, that's where your lover is. Now, there's the shadow aspect of it all. The shadow king is a necrophilia, not a biophiliac. The shadow queen is the same thing. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Snow White, ah! Oh, she wants to be mirrored instead of mirroring others. Then you have the shadow warrior like Darth Vader. He's lost his moral compass completely and he serves the dark forces. And don't forget, like Kill Bill 2, the evil female warrior can demonize others just as well as a man can be as brutal and inhumane once they've learned to suppress the impulse to mercy. That's genderless too. And then you have the evil Voldemort, the ultimate intentions that are totally narcissistic and self-serving, not using his knowledge for the good of people. So also have the negative version of Baba Yaga. She suffers no fools. She will just as soon as eat you give you the time of day. So you better know the answers to the questions or you're dead meat. Then of course when it gets to the lover, there's the addict aspect of the negative or the shadow part of the lover, where you numb yourself in order not to feel, anesthetized to the point of not knowing anymore what's what. And that's why addicts at least do this, because when they shoot up, at least they know what they're going to get. What's an addiction? What do you lust after? What do you hoard after? I always think about this. Shoes. How much is enough? When is enough enough? How much is too much? You have to work it out. And then you realize these 4 archetypes have their own way of expressing. The king and queen of the line of nurturance, to include everybody else. The warrior is the line of aggression, to get that part of you out that's willing to assert itself. And the magus, or the medial woman, it's the line of cognition. It's using the brain power that you have to develop intuition and insight. And for the lover, it's the line of affiliation. Oh, I love this. This is binary, of course. Love me and I will move mountains to make you hurt me. Hurt me and I'll drop those mountains on your balls. Ooh, guys, you better watch out. But remember, guys, if you're binary and you're dealing with a woman, sexual ecstasy is the least delight that a woman can bring into your life. How about that? A lot of people think that that's the only thing male, that's the least delight that a woman brings into your life, because she has so many other wonderful things to offer you. So remember that. All right. And then last but not least, the negative aspect. How do you know you're in the wrong aspect of your king and queen? I'm not bossy. I just know what you should be doing. Don't be bossy. How do you know you're in the negative aspect of your warrior? You're mean, like you're a sadist. You inflict intimidation and fear on other people. How do you know you're a negative magus? You're detached and you manipulate from behind the scenes, never admitting what's really going on. And then, of course, the warrior, Keith Richards, had a big go at it. Don't addict yourself in order not to feel what's going on. All right, that's what I got to share for you today. Remember, next Wednesday will be our next offering for Good Vibrations Yoga from 11 to 1. Go to my website and register. The subject will be the magic on the horizon. I'd like to find out what that is, right? Yeah, I would too, but I'm going to talk about it. Peace.